Welcome to Africa channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to help us.
It won't be cheap, but the electric Hummer SUV will be packed with tons of features. A large 4-door, 5-passenger electric SUV cousin to the 2022 GMC Hummer EV pickup truck. The 2024 GMC Hummer EV SUV will start production with the limited edition one in moonshot green matte, but additional colors will be available on lower trims. The SUV's cool features include a removable roof, a lighted crystal Hummer bar on the front, the lunar sea of tranquility etched into the speaker grills and on the floor, and large digital displays. An extreme off-road package provides 18-inch wheels and available 37-inch tires, underbody armor, rock sliders, a front e-locker, and virtual rear lockers to augment the standard four-wheel drive with rear torque vectoring. The Hummer also has Super Cruise hands-free driving assist, an adaptive air suspension, four-wheel steering, and extras such as extract and CrabWalk modes to get out of dicey situations on the trail. There is a ferocious launch control sequence known as Watts to Freedom, or WTF, and with 3 motors, the top trim Hummers generate 830 horsepower and about 1,045 pounds-to-foot of torque, enough to blast from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. Over time, more affordable models will be added with one fewer motor, less power, lower range, and fewer features. The pickup and SUV bring back the iconic Hummer name but on zero-emissions vehicles. They are part of a wave of new EVs from General Motors in all shapes and sizes, for all brands and markets, and these new vehicles are being developed in half the usual time. The Hummer uses GM's Ultium battery system for up to 300 miles of range on a single charge. The SUV is expected to outsell the pickup, and GM hopes the pair proves to consumers that legacy carmakers can make cool and capable electric vehicles. The Hummer pickup is the first EV on GM's new dedicated platform that will support the Hummer SUV and Chevrolet Silverado electric pickup trucks, as well as large SUVs. GM's Ultium batteries are packaged into modules and provide a range of 250 to 300 miles per charge, depending on the trim level, which also dictates whether the model has 2 or 3 electric motors. Horsepower ranges from 625 to 830. The base SUV comes with 400-volt fast charging, the rest of the lineup uses 800 volts. A bidirectional charger allows power to flow in or out, so it can power accessories, provide juice to your home during a blackout, or charge another electric vehicle. The Edition 1 starts at $105,595. The rest of the lineup will launch by spring 2024 at prices ranging from $79,995 to $99,995. Debunking the 11,500 pounds-to-foot torque spec, plus a look at rear wheel steering and bidirectional charging. On the occasion of the 2024 GMC Hummer EV SUV's launch, the brand has seen fit to divulge several new technical highlights of this 2-box variant of General Motors' new Ultium electric platform, several of which will also pertain to the 2022 GMC Hummer EV truck version, which so far practically nobody is calling suit, as they did with its Hummer H2 and H3 predecessor pickups. Let's jump right in. The only way a figure like 11,500 pounds-to-foot of torque could possibly make mathematical sense with a horsepower figure of 1,000, even if you're dividing each by 4, is if the motors in question were mounted inside the wheels, where they'd never exceed about 1,000 revolutions per minute. So, ever since we learned the 2022 GMC Hummer EV's motors would be mounted inboard on the chassis, we knew the 5-digit torque number had to be a summation of wheel torque figures. Since it cannot represent the total torque at the motor shafts, it is not comparable with any other torque spec you read about from Motor Trend or anyplace else. We got Chief Engineer Al Oppenheiser to spill the beans on the electric motors and the direct drive ratios they'll use to drive the wheels on the 3X and Edition 1 Hummer EV models that launch first. The single motor driving the front axle spins 13-to-1 gearing. The 2 motors individually spinning each rear will get slightly taller 10-to-1 gearing. Presuming ideal traction conditions where equivalent electrical energy can be sent to all 3 motors, a peak combined shaft torque just exceeding 1,045 pounds-to-foot will multiply out to 11,500 pounds-to-foot at the wheels. Dividing that by 3 yields just a bit more than 348 pounds-to-foot per motor. But you can expect GMC to stand by its big number. Engaging Watts to Freedom mode will bring up an instantaneous torque gauge, and we hear it goes to 11,000 pound-feet. Why does the 2022 GMC Hummer EV pickup truck get a peak power rating of 1,000 horsepower while the 2024 GMC Hummer EV SUV must make do with just 830? Both GMC Hummer EV variants will use the most powerful of the Ultium lineup's first 3 motors, which get nominal power ratings of 70, 180, and 255 kilowatts, 94, 241, 342 horsepower. The big one is codenamed X80, Though Oppenheiser says when they gang two of them together on the rear axle, the unit gets an X79 moniker. That 255 kilowatt rating equates to 342 horsepower, and if our calculations above are right, 348 pounds to foot. So why doesn't either 3-motor Hummer EV make 1026 horsepower? As you may recall, most electric motors generate peak torque at 0 revolutions per minute, and maintain that torque over some range of RPM, before tapering down. Horsepower is simply torque times RPM / 5,252. In an electric motor, the rate at which RPM, and hence power, increases and torque decreases is governed by how fast electricity gets delivered to the motors. This is how Tesla has been able to download more horsepower to its vehicles, by sending new code that instructs the power inverter to send more electrons more quickly. For the new GMC Hummer EVs, differences in battery pack voltage levels between the truck and SUV are responsible for the power difference, because the pickup truck's 135.6-inch wheelbase accommodates 24 battery modules, mounted in 6 rows, each 2 abreast and 2 deep. The SUV's 126.7-inch wheelbase requires a shorter battery pack that only has room for 5 rows of battery modules. The 20-module pack operates at a slightly lower voltage, and hence is unable to supply electrons to the motors at the same rate as the larger pickup truck's 24-module battery can. This is also the primary reason why the SUV's 300-mile estimated range falls 50 miles short of the pickup truck S. We've known this was coming, and we've seen the 2022 Hummer EV pickup CrabWalk around obstacles. You can, too, in the video above. Now we know how to activate it. Press the mode switch, located at the 9 o'clock position on the terrain mode dial, for 5 seconds, until a Welcome to CrabWalk mode splash screen comes up on the instrument cluster. Now when you turn the steering wheel, the front and rear wheels steer in unison up to 10 degrees. Continue turning it and the front wheels will turn more, though this would only result in a gigantic turning circle. It works in forward or reverse, but as you accelerate, the rear wheels automatically straighten themselves out between 25 to 35 miles per hour. Conceived as an off-road obstacle avoidance feature, it may also prove convenient for parallel parking and other on-road maneuvers. As in most vehicles with four-wheel steering, at low speeds the rear wheels generally steer opposite the fronts. This tightens the 2024 Hummer EV SUV's curb-to-curb turning circle diameter by 6.5 feet, from 41.9 to 35.4 feet, same as a Bolt EV. At higher speeds, the rear wheels steer in the same direction as the fronts to smooth out lane changes. So, when Super Cruise automatically executes a lane change, the Hummer EV will CrabWalk from one lane to the other so you don't perceive any turning sensation. The energy in a new GMC Hummer EV will be useful not only for on- and off-road transportation, but also in case of a home power outage, to power a camping trailer, or to recharge a fellow EV traveler, on road or off. Accessory cables that attach to the standard EV charge port will be capable of exporting 3 kilowatts of 110-volt power to your home or camper, or up to 6 kilowatts of 240-volt power. This feature will come standard on all but the base model. Speaking of that charge port, it's located at the far rear of the driver's side because most DC fast charge cables are comparatively short, and this puts the port within easy reach when backed into the charging spot. Oh, and a 19.2 kilowatt onboard AC charging option is available on upper trim models, useful for those whose garage has a 100 amp circuit breaker and 4-gauge garage wiring capable of flowing 80 amps to their level 2 charger. Just as a refresher, the GMC Hummer EV's Ultium battery features NMCA chemistry. That stands for nickel, cobalt, manganese, aluminum, which are the metals comprising the cathode. These metals host the lithium ions when the battery is in its discharged state. This battery chemistry is key to meeting the cost and range targets, because the presence of aluminum permits a higher nickel content and crucially reduces the cobalt content. Cobalt is the rarest, priciest, and most difficult to source ethically. A Hummer EV battery cell reportedly requires 70% less cobalt than a cell in the Bolt EV. And finally, you may know electric vehicles are required to make artificial noise below 25 miles per hour to warn vision-impaired people they're coming. The noise also benefits people who just aren't paying attention to their surroundings. We can't wait to hear the 2022 and 2024 Hummer EV's final sound signature, which Oppenheiser tells us was inspired in part by Formula E racing sounds, jet engines, and guitar riffs from Aldo Nova's Fantasy. Rock on, Hummer!
We have come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel to help us.